You've heard of the Roman Empire. You've read about Egypt's pyramids. But what if I told you that Asia had civilizations just as powerful, just as advanced, yet almost completely erased from history books? Empires of warriors, seafarers, monks, astronomers, and kings. Empires that once shaped the world and were forgotten. Today, we uncover 5 ancient Asian civilizations you've probably never even heard of. This is Ancient Asian, where lost history comes alive. 1. Champa, Vietnam's lost Hindu empire. Kingdom of Champa rose in the 2nd century AD on the central coast of what is now Vietnam. Its people were Austronesian seafarers who embraced Indian culture, architecture, language, and spirituality. They worshipped Shiva, used Sanskrit inscriptions, and even built red brick temples inspired by Indian designs. Champa wasn't just spiritual, it was a maritime powerhouse, trading with India, China, and even the Islamic world. Its ports connected the East with the Middle East through the maritime Silk Road. At its peak, Champa was a cluster of kingdoms controlling critical trade routes in the South China Sea. But its strength also brought enemies. The Khmer Empire to the west and the Dai Viet to the north constantly fought Champa for land and power. Over centuries, it was pushed further south until its last stronghold, Panduranga, fell in the 1800s. Today, Vietnamese culture has absorbed much of Champa's legacy, but the temples at Mai Son still stand, quietly testifying to a lost civilization most never hear about. 2. Goguryeo, Korea's warrior kingdom. Before South and North Korea, before the Joseon dynasty, there was Goguryeo, a kingdom of warriors, fortress cities, and snow-covered campaigns. Founded in 37 BC, Goguryeo covered northern Korea, Manchuria, and parts of modern-day Russia. It was known for its elite cavalry, mountain citadels, and an independent spirit that defied Chinese control for centuries. The Goguryeo people built massive fortresses, some still visible today, and painted stunning murals in their tombs. These murals reveal everyday life, royal banquets, dancing, and complex battle formations. Their military resisted invasions from powerful dynasties like the Han, Wei, and Tang. In fact, the Tang-Goguryeo wars are still legendary in East Asian history. Yet despite its power, Goguryeo was caught in internal conflict. By 668 AD, it was conquered by a Silla-Tang alliance. But its memory didn't vanish. Goguryeo became a symbol of Korean pride and independence, especially for North Korea, which often references it to claim cultural continuity. And yet, outside the Korean peninsula, almost no one remembers this fierce and independent empire. 3. Kushan Empire, where Greece met Buddha. Now we head to Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent, where the Kushan Empire created something truly unique. Rising in the 1st century AD, the Kushans were originally nomadic Yuezhi tribes from the steppes of Central Asia. They moved south, settled in Bactria, and built an empire stretching across Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India. But what made the Kushans exceptional was their culture. They were the first to combine Greek, Persian, and Indian traditions into a single artistic and political style. Their coins had Greek inscriptions, their gods came from multiple pantheons, and their sculptures, especially from the Gandhara school, blended Buddhist themes with Greco-Roman realism. Under King Kanishka the Great, the Kushans embraced and promoted Mahayana Buddhism, helping spread it along the Silk Road into Central Asia and China. They even held Buddhist councils, minted gold coins, and promoted urban development, centuries before the Gupta or Sassanid Golden Ages. By the 3rd century AD, however, pressure from outside empires and fragmentation within led to their decline. Today, most people have no idea who the Kushans were, but their influence shaped the religious, cultural, and artistic future of Asia. 4. Srivijaya, Empire of the Sea. Imagine an empire with no great army, no monumental architecture, but absolute dominance over Southeast Asia. That was Srivijaya. Based in Sumatra, this empire ruled from the 7th to 13th century, controlling the vital Strait of Malacca, the world's most important maritime trade corridor. Srivijaya was a thalassocracy, a sea-based empire whose strength came from its navy and trade routes. It became a hub for the spice trade, Buddhist scholarship, and international diplomacy. Chinese monks like Yi Jing documented their visits to Srivijaya, praising its monasteries and libraries. Srivijaya was a cultural beacon where Buddhist texts were translated and preserved, influencing regions from Java to Tibet. But they left behind no massive stone palaces, no pyramids, no Angkor Wats. Why? Because Srivijaya's legacy was in the flow of knowledge, goods, and faith, not in what was built, but in what was exchanged. Eventually, Srivijaya fell due to Chola invasions from South India, piracy, and internal decay. Rival kingdoms like Majapahit and Malacca rose in its place. Today, barely anyone remembers it existed, but Srivijaya ruled the seas, centuries before the rise of any European naval empire. 5. Nanzhao, China's Highland Kingdom. Deep in the mountains of southwestern China, in what is now Yunnan Province, a kingdom known as Nanzhao thrived in the 8th and 9th centuries. Nanzhao wasn't Han Chinese. It was a multi-ethnic kingdom made up of Bai, Yi, Tibetan, and other highland peoples. It blended Tibetan, Chinese, and Southeast Asian influences into a unique mountain culture. It rose as a buffer state between Tang China and the Tibetan Empire, mastering highland warfare and mountain diplomacy. Nanzhao's rulers adopted Buddhism, built temples, and even launched military campaigns deep into China and Vietnam. Its capital, Dali, became a center of culture, silverwork, and Buddhist learning. But after internal strife and Mongol expansion, Nanzhao was absorbed into the Dali Kingdom, and later, the Yuan Empire. Today, few outside of China even know it existed, but Nanzhao was one of Asia's most strategic and most forgotten kingdoms. If these ancient civilizations surprised you, imagine what else history has buried. There are empires we've forgotten, stories we were never told, and here we bring them back to life. So if you crave lost knowledge, if you want more forgotten legends from the East, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and let's uncover Asia's ancient secrets together. This is Ancient Asian, where forgotten history speaks again.